Hang on. I'm getting a little spacey. Let me think. Set interval. So set interval is a function that. Okay, so yeah, now let's see. Let me think about this. Okay, I got it. I got it. So this is a function that takes in it. So what this does, you have to pass in a function and an interval time. So like how often or it's how many milliseconds per interval or like and it's going to call this function every 100. So this is in milliseconds. And if you want to see more information about that, just say HTML set interval. And just to let you guys know, this is the developer.mozilla.org. They're kind of like the like it's like the I don't know, they have like the best well documented like everything you need to know about everything. Like look how much information it has about set interval. Like you it's kind of overwhelming. Um but the reason why it's overwhelming is cuz like this is like comprehensive. Like all you really need to know is like like an example. Even this example is a little complex. Um, so let's back up. So okay, so the first thing, so we need to create a function. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're gonna write our first function. Let's see. Yep. So Alex had a point. There is a I call this syntax sugar. So there is another way to there is a shortcut to express this, and it is the plus equals operator. Um, Same thing, but plus equals is just a so it's called I call this syntax sugar, and syntax sugar is just it's an easier way to do something. Um, I will say I don't like to reveal syntax sugar because then you don't learn like the core. Um, like to literally know that this is syntactical, like this is just this like plus equals isn't real. What is real is equals. There is only equals. A plus equals simply does the takes the current value, increases by 10 and reassigns it backwards. It literally does the other thing. Um so yeah, for your first game I like to stick to non syntax sugar. But yes, you can do plus equals. That's fine. Totally legit. Um, but yes, good point. I'm glad that it's good. It's good to get some feedback there. So, let's see. So right. Okay, let's see. What was I gonna do? Right, I was gonna write a function. So let's make a function and let's call it update. So I like to call it update. I think in Unity it might be called update 2. I can't remember. Um, but so I'm going to define a function called update. So, oh, and then we see a bracket. So this is exactly what I was talking about before. So once you open up a bracket, that means, actually, you know what? Let me do this all in one line. So function update. I got to write my little things and this is here you can put in parameters. So you know what? Let me go ahead and put in a parameter, speed. Um, just so that there's an actual parameter and something like useful. Um, so what I'm going to do, so I opened up a bracket. So that bracket, you know, going back here, this bracket contains code for reuse. So that's exactly what a function is. A function, in terms of programming, contains code for reuse. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing here. So function is a keyword. So that's another keyword. Let's add that to our list of keywords. Function. So function is a keyword. All it does is it declares a function. That's it. It just says, hey, the next thing I'm typing is going to be a function. Then you put the name of the function, and then it's just like, you know, just like this. Exactly like that. So we're going to say function update speed. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and just copy paste this stuff and just throw it in there. And then I end it. So we can see here that this code is now contained inside this container of the function. That might be a lot to process in the very beginning. Maybe I made it sound easy, I don't know, but there's a lot going on here. Like if you just looked at this without knowing anything about programming, you might be like, holy cow, I can never code. Um, but once you know how to code, it's like, okay, function means, okay, this person's declaring a function. That's the name of the function. Okay, there's parentheses. There's my parameters. Okay, speed. Oh, and actually that brings me to a point. I'm not actually using my parameter. So speed is like, it's a value you pass in. So let me just like really quickly just replace 10. So like 10 was my old speed. Let me just put speed. Let's see. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, let's just try it. Okay, so once I press enter, there we go. So now we have a function. So it's like, this is kind of like, oh, and just for fun facts, sort of, you can kind of think of, these are kind of synonymous. So let me go ahead and say update. So update is there. So function update blah. There's another way to write that in JavaScript. You can actually say let update equal function. Like, you can kind of do this. I'll just copy paste that. And then you can get rid of that. Oh, well, it's saying it's been declared already. Let's do this. There we go. So I had to get rid of let because the computer was like, hey, you already made a variable called update. So I just like reassigned it. So these are kind of the same syntax. Update equals function or function update. And this one's cleaner. For reasons that I'm not going to explain. But just note that this one is the one you should do. But this is possible. I will say that is possible. This one's more like saying like this is the update function, and this is more like saying like, hey, I have a variable called update, and that variable is storing a function. It kind of implies that that function has the ability to change. Like I could like watch this. Like, okay, let me go ahead and call update 10. No, update 1. So now it just moves, like, I can pass in a speed, and it will move by that speed, right? So, and that's code. We're coding. There's, I don't know. Let's see, 100. Let me bring them back. Okay, good enough. Clear this console. Okay. So, just to kind of show you what I was talking about before, I could go ahead and just say update. Actually, I'm getting a little ahead of myself again. So let's see. So, okay, let me just do it. I'm gonna say update equals 4. Now that function is gone. If I try to invoke it, wait, does it still work? That would be nuts. I don't believe this. Yeah, it's there. Oh, wow, it still works. Well, there you go. There's a nuance of JavaScript right there. For some reason, the update function still works. But that wasn't supposed to work. Update equals null, maybe? Let's try that. Yeah, see, there we go. So, okay, supposedly changing the value to a number allowed it to still work, but setting it to null deleted the function. So now if I say update equals 4, let's try it. Yeah, update is not a function. Interesting stuff. So that right there is why a lot of programmers are like afraid of, or they're a little bit hesitant to JavaScript because it's so forgiving. Whereas when you're coding, you want things, if something's wrong, you want it to be like wrong, right? Whereas JavaScript keeps things fuzzy, which again is why I believe it's good for beginners, but not so much for like people that are like, doing like serious like mathematical coding stuff. So let's see. Right. Okay. So yeah, what's my whole point is that doing that update equals function kind of implies that variable update, like update is kind of like it's a variable that can be changed, whereas I feel like this syntax just says like, hey, this is the update function, it's not going anywhere. Both ways it's reassignable, but anyway, recommend this one. So let's see, right? Okay, now we got our function. We got our function we can call. So let me go ahead. I just reassigned it, just to let you know. There you go. So let me go ahead, update minus, I'll just throw them back 60 pixels or so. That's good enough. So now let's go ahead and put that in a set interval. So I will refresh. So it's super easy. So there's a function called set interval. So now the first argument it wants is okay, is a function. So I will actually just go here real quick. So there's like some fancy stuff here. These brackets usually mean like, hey, this function can actually take like an infinite number of arguments. But for our sake, we're just going to use this one. So you basically just put in a delay for every single tick. So the first argument is a function. The second argument is a delay. So we're just going to do that. So our argument we put into set interval is that function we just wrote called update. And I think, oh, did I mess up? I think I messed up. Let's try it. I might need to wrap that in another function, but let's see what that does. Update 20, and then let's say 16. You know, for the sake of this, let's just say, let's make it slower, like 30. Okay, so that didn't work. My bad. That's because that was a one-time function call. So what we actually need to do is, gosh, maybe I shouldn't have used that variable, because that's kind of complicated. Yeah. What I need to do is I need to pass in a function, like an actual function. What this did, technically, is it called the function, and then gave me the result of that function, and then did that. So, my bad, everyone. What we should have done is this, but then it doesn't have a speed. So, okay. You know what, I'm going to ditch the speed thing for now, because it's just not beginner friendly. I'm going to redefine updates. So let's just go ahead and get rid of speed. Let's go ahead and... Actually, you know what? Yeah, no, sorry, I was just thinking. So let's go ahead and just put 5. Actually, let's put 2. 2, yeah. Okay, so now every time I call update, it no longer takes in any arguments. It will just move by 2, no matter what. I mean, I can pass in arguments. It doesn't hurt. But it doesn't do anything. So now we can use update and set interval. So let's go ahead. You know, I was just trying to see if that would work, but I had a feeling it wouldn't work. So there we go. So now we got our first player on the screen moving. And also I can do this. I could just call my own up. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, right here. That's good enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna get rid of that. So I'm just gonna like I'm gonna invoke this code. I'm gonna put him back at 0. So that's how I can grab my player again. He just went off the screen and left. But I can place him wherever I want. Like, watch, I can put it at 100. But that update function is still going. So that right there is how we just got the that is like the fundamental basis of coding for the web. So just to kind of go back here, let's go ahead and main update refresh render loop tick thing. So check. So we got that. So the main refresh thing, that was with set interval. There actually is a better way of doing that. That is not using set interval. That is a more consistent thing to do. But for now, we're just going to use set interval. Once and later on, we can probably change it to another thing. It's called request animation. So that's another thing. But for beginners, set interval is totally fine. So with position data, that's just a variable. We just like let x equal whatever value. Just say 0. And then for changing values, it was player.style.left equals x plus, and then you have to put the word pixel. So that's how we did everything. Oh, and then this, we needed to pass in a function. And then an interval. So we had to create a function. So, yeah. That is the very first step of making a game. let's see. Yeah, and okay, let me just go ahead real quick. I will go ahead and do this also for the Y position to make our player move vertically as well. So basically, to do that, like we right now, this game, this player only exists in one dimension, um, like in the X dimension. Let's now add 2D, like 2D-ness. The way we're going to do that is um, we're going to rewrite the same code, but with y's. Like we're just going to replace every x with y. So I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. So the first thing we need to do is let. No, I'm going to be a little lazy. Yeah, I'm going to just say let y equals 0. Let's see, player dot style. Yeah, I'll just style dot pop equals y plus pixels.